What if I told you one of the most vibrant, complex, and misunderstood communities in Brazil is hidden in plain sight? When you hear the word favela, your mind probably jumps to a very specific image, one shaped by movies and news reports. But today we're going to peel back those layers. We're heading into Rocinha, the largest favela not just in Rio de Janeiro but in all of Brazil. A place that's less of a slum and more of a city within a city, bursting with life, innovation, and stories that you absolutely will not see on the evening news. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Is it safe? Is it what I expect? And that's exactly why we're doing this. The headlines love to paint a simple picture of chaos and crime, but that's like describing New York City by only talking about Times Square traffic. It's a tiny, noisy part of a much bigger, more beautiful story. Alright, let's start with a little numbers game. When you think of a neighborhood, what population comes to mind? 10,000? 20,000? Well, hold on to your hats. Officially, the government census says around 70,000 people live in Rocinha. But if you ask anyone who actually lives here, they'll laugh. The real number, the one whispered on the streets and estimated by local associations, is closer to 250,000, maybe even 300,000 people. To put that into perspective, for my friends in the States, that's more people than live in Orlando, Florida. Yes, the home of Disney World. Imagine the entire population of Orlando packed into an area of just under 1 square mile. This isn't just a collection of houses on a hill, it's a bustling, dense, urban metropolis with its own rhythm, its own rules, and its own gravity. This density creates a unique kind of energy. It's a place where everyone knows everyone, not because they want to, but because they have to. And think about the logistics of that. How do you get water, electricity, and internet to 250,000 people in a place that grew organically, without any official city planning? Now, let's talk about location, because in real estate that's everything, right? Well, Rocinha has some of the most valuable real estate in the world. It's nestled on a steep hillside, sandwiched directly between two of Rio de Janeiro's wealthiest and most exclusive neighborhoods, São Conrado and Gavia. We're talking about multi-million-dollar apartments, luxury cars, and private golf clubs right next door. From the top of Rocinha, you have a breathtaking panoramic view of the city. You can see the iconic Christ the Redeemer statue, Sugarloaf Mountain, and the beautiful blue waters of the Atlantic Ocean. It's a billion-dollar view, the kind of view that in any other city would be reserved for penthouses and exclusive resorts, but here, it belongs to the residents of the favela. This proximity creates a fascinating and often tense dynamic. The richest and the poorest people in Rio are, quite literally, neighbors. The children from Rocinha walk past the country club on their way to school. The domestic workers who clean the fancy apartments live just up the hill. They share the same view, breathe the same air, but live in completely different worlds. And it's this strange, undeniable connection that makes Rocinha's location one of its most defining and unbelievable features. If a city has a heartbeat, Rocinha's pounds to the rhythm of samba and funk. This isn't just a place where people live, it's a place that is alive with culture. The soundscape here is incredible. On any given night, you can walk through the alleys and hear the distant beat of a funk party, the soulful chords of a samba circle, or the chants from a local football match. The most famous of these sounds is funk carioca, or Rio funk. It was born in the favelas, and Rocinha is one of its epicenters. These parties, known as Bale's Funk, are legendary. They're massive, open-air events that can draw thousands of people, taking over entire streets until dawn. It's a raw, powerful, and unapologetic sound that tells the stories of life in the favela, the struggles, the joys, the politics. It's a culture that the mainstream media often tries to villainize, but for the youth of Rocinha, it's their voice. But it's not just about the parties. Culture is woven into the fabric of everyday life. You have capoeira schools where kids learn the Afro-Brazilian martial art that combines dance, acrobatics, and music, and the festivals. During Carnival, while the world watches the massive parade in the Sambadrome, communities like Rocinha have their own vibrant local celebrations called blocos, which are often more authentic and energetic than the official events. The music, the dance, the art, it all comes together to create a cultural identity that is uniquely, powerfully Rocinha. It's loud, it's proud, and it's impossible to ignore. When you have a city of 250,000 people, you need an economy to support it. And Rocinha has one of the most dynamic, informal economies you will ever see. Forget the idea that everyone leaves the favela to work. Rocinha is a self-contained economic powerhouse. It's estimated that the community generates millions of dollars in commerce every month, right here within its own borders. Walk down the main commercial street, the Via Appia, and it's like any busy downtown in the world. You'll find banks, pharmacies, supermarkets, clothing stores, electronics shops, and even a McDonald's. Yes, you heard that right. Major brands have recognized the economic power of this community and have set up shop. But honestly, the real magic lies in the small, locally owned businesses. There are hundreds, if not thousands of them. There are moto taxi drivers who are the lifeblood of the community's transport system, navigating the impossibly narrow and steep alleyways where cars can't go. This creates a circular economy where money spent in Rocinha often stays in Rocinha, strengthening the entire community. It's a complex network of hustle, creativity, and mutual support. Walking through Rocinha is honestly like walking through a massive open-air art gallery. The concrete walls, the sides of buildings, the staircases, they're all canvases for an explosion of color and creativity. The street art here isn't just random graffiti or tagging, it's actually a really powerful form of storytelling. Murals and graffiti art turn the monochromatic gray of unfinished brick and concrete into this vibrant tapestry that totally reflects the soul of the community. Many of these pieces are created by local artists, people who grew up right here in Rocinha, and use their art to communicate their reality. You'll see stunning portraits of beloved community members, tributes to cultural icons, and powerful political statements about social justice and inequality. One of the most famous aspects of this art scene is the use of mosaics. You'll find intricate, colorful mosaic art on public stairways and walls, often created as part of community projects. These projects not only bring beauty to the area, but also really bring people together. Residents, including children and teenagers, collaborate to create these beautiful installations, fostering a sense of ownership and pride in their shared spaces. This art transforms the physical experience of being in Rocinha. Instead of feeling oppressive, the dense urban landscape feels alive and full of personality. It's a constant reminder of the creativity that flourishes here. So what is daily life actually like for the 250,000 people who call Rocinha home? It's probably a lot more normal than you think. Forget the constant chaos you see in movies. For most people, life is about getting the kids to school, going to work, and buying groceries for dinner. It's the universal rhythm of everyday life, just played out in a very unique setting. Let's talk about the essentials. Rocinha has its own schools, health clinics, and community centers. There are bustling, open-air markets where you can buy fresh fruit, vegetables, and meat. There are daycare centers, gyms, and even a community radio station and TV channel. It's a fully functioning society with all the components needed to support its population. One of the most surprising things is the sheer amount of social activity. On a weekend, the community is buzzing. You'll see families having barbecues on their rooftops, kids playing football in improvised courts, and neighbors sitting outside their homes, chatting and catching up. There's a constant hum of social interaction. This public life, lived out in the shared spaces of the community, creates a powerful bond between residents. It's a level of neighborhood connection that has been lost in many modern suburban communities. In a place with so many systemic challenges, it's easy to focus on the struggle. But Rocinha is also a place that produces incredible stories of success. It's a community full of people who have overcome immense adversity to achieve their dreams, proving that talent and determination can flourish anywhere. These are the stories that don't make the news, but they are the ones that truly define the spirit of Rocinha. They are the community's heroes. Take the story of a young person who grew up loving to surf, using a broken board to ride the waves at the nearby São Conrado beach. Despite having no resources, their passion and talent were undeniable. Today there are professional surfers who came from Rocinha, competing on a national and even international level. Or think about the entrepreneurs who started with a small food stall and, through sheer hard work and a quality product, grew their business into a famous local restaurant that now attracts tourists from all over the world. There are artists whose work is now displayed in galleries in Europe, musicians who have signed record deals, and community leaders who have gone on to work in politics to fight for the rights of favela residents. These stories are crucial because they shatter the one-dimensional stereotype of the favela resident as a victim or a criminal. They show the world that Rocinha is a place of potential, a place where, against all odds, people are achieving extraordinary things. So we've walked the alleys, seen the art, felt the rhythm, and heard the stories. Rocinha is not a simple place, and it can't be defined by a single headline. It's a complex, living, breathing city filled with challenges, yes, but also with an overwhelming amount of joy, creativity, and resilience. It's a community that has built itself, that supports itself, and that has a culture and identity all its own. Seeing it this way, not as a problem to be solved, but as a community to be understood, changes everything. The next time you hear the word favela, I hope you remember the 250,000 people living their lives, the entrepreneurs running their businesses, the artists painting their truths on the walls, and the kids dreaming of becoming the next football star or surf champion. These are the real stories of Rocinha. It's a place that forces us to confront our own prejudices and see the humanity that connects us all, no matter where we live or what our circumstances are. I want to know what surprised you the most. Was it the population size, the billion-dollar view, the vibrant economy? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey today. If you want to discover more eye-opening stories like this and challenge your perspective on the world, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Until next time, stay curious.